Good evening, Anurag.
Hi,
Big,
evening.
big, big congratulations on that 735. It's not an easy feat to reach here. It's a marvelous score right there. And look at the score, it's gleaming 100 percentile. Big, big congratulations. Of course, we all have shared our version of congratulating you from Sandeep sir to all of us. Extremely happy. Your quant score is at 95th percentile, verbal is at 96th percentile, and data insight in 99th percentile. So, what we're going to do right now is look, because you shared with me the entire score report, I would
Yes,
like to take some moment to go through the entire score report once. Let me stop
yeah,
this. So, this is very interesting because I think we would like to just go about each of the section, what led to, let's say, a 95th percentile, 96th percentile, and 99th percentile. So very
yeah,
interesting that you had got only one wrong in quant,
yeah,
and that was the 20th question, which
yes,
was an algebra question, and
yeah.
that caused the
I remember it was
percentile to drop.
yeah,
Yes,
it was a remainder question. I completely remember the question exactly right now. It was a three equation remainder question. So yeah, it was taking too much time for me. And
ah,
at one point I was confused between two answers, so I just went with it.
you
I
went.
it, yeah, I took I think six. I will actually take. It took too many minutes so on it, and I was at one point I was like, just let's go with it, okay. So and it went wrong.
It went wrong, but that's one of the thing I wanted to highlight. Sometimes one question, even in the end, has cost you like a 5%, at 88, just with one
Yeah,
question. It's very difficult to, imagine what level of the question that was. Clearly, in
yeah,
this case, it was the level, it would have been a higher level question.
yeah,
While looking at the verbal score, again, the first question was incorrect. There were
yeah.
two, three, four incorrect in verbal, and you still got managed to get a 96th percentile. Maybe if the first and the, let's say, eighth question was probably correct, it would have really scaled up your percentile as well. But how about it? Do you recall you
Yeah, I mean, I
getting
remember because
stuck?
the thing is, yeah, because previous to this exam, I didn't take any mocks, so I faced kind of a friction when I just moved on to the different section, and because of that, the first question itself was a bit tricky. I mean, I would have having difficulty trying to grasp it. I was still in the phase of the quant, and I was just moving into the other section, and that
Oh,
for that hangover kind of a phase, uh, the understanding kind of dropped. Like
so
by
so you
second
didn't have
question.
a break between quant and verbal.
No, I didn't have break.
Okay, all right, okay. So there had that kind of shook your momentum, and that showed up in the first question. But let's look at the most performing section, which is the DI. So you've got about three of them wrong. So do you recollect what happened in these three questions that you got incorrect?
Yeah, I remember the multi-source reasoning one because I put a lot of time into it. I was trying to verify it, but there was I don't remember exactly, but there was certain reference to it. Like it could be and it could not be. I could justify it that way also, and yes, yes also, and I could justify with no also, and so that's why I couldn't make it out. It was one part of the question. I
But did
remember.
you run out of time in any
No, I
of
did
the
not run out of
sections?
bit of time. I used to run out of time eventually in all my mocks and everything, but it was I think I found it a little bit easier in a way. I
Yeah,
had a couple of minutes first
I think you
step.
fairly did well in many of these questions, except maybe two questions you took a little bit of time, which is in multi-source MSR and here the math related data sufficiency questions, 4 minute and 5 minute. Baki, it was pretty smooth. All of the section seems like a pretty smooth section. All right, so let me stop the share here. Over to you. Now, before we get started, I mean, we spoke a lot about the exam itself, but you tell me about yourself. Because you got this score, and how did this entire GMAT journey itself start out for you? Where did you think? What did you think initially, and why did you think there's a need for GMAT or an MBA at this point? What was your idea? And give me a
Uh,
little bit background about yourself as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
Anurag.
Yeah, so I graduated from Tulani, Pune. I did my marine engineering there, and since then I've been working in for as a marine engineer in MOL ships. And I didn't like the progression that I was heading towards after. I would say after a year only, I didn't like the progression that I was heading towards, and I
Mm.
wanted to change my domain. And I have tried it a couple of times in my company office itself, but I was always getting shortlisted for interviews, and I was just getting back down because I didn't have any proper credentials for these positions.
Okay.
So I had to upskill myself, and MBA was a good option for me.
Right.
And yeah, initially I was planning on giving my CAT, but after a month of CAT, I just got annoyed in a way. Like, what is the purpose of this? I don't want to get into that, but I just didn't like the entire procedure of. I didn't
Well,
like the product that
yeah.
I'm going to get out of it. So I just and I got a guidance of some of my seniors also that GMAT is a much better option if you have a kind of work skills. So that's why I started looking for GMAT. And while I was looking for GMAT, Jignesh, his uh, his testimonial came right out of an algorithm in my YouTube, and because of that, I know that I got to know about top 1%. Since then,
Right.
I
Now
joined.
he's at Duke, Fuqua. He's studying there. He's doing
Yeah,
his MBA.
yeah, yeah,
Very glad now. So before you embarked on this GMAT journey, right?
yeah.
Was there any preconceived notion about what GMAT is going to be? What is this test about? And now that you are on the other side, after having experienced, so my question is the expectation versus the reality. So how did it all turn out?
The GMAT itself.
Exam itself.
Okay. So I've been a GMAT one, two, three, four times right now. So I have too much experience, which I don't. So most of it is that. But yeah, I would say I think it's more of a mindset kind of exam. And people think it is testing your analytical verbal. It is testing your analytical and verbal skills. But I think it's more of a mindset kind of exam. You can just build that mindset. Anybody can just go through it and give a good score. I mean, it's not about it's a there's a quant section, there's a verbal section, there's a DI section, and it is a very subjective approach to each of them. But at the end of the day, it's more about your mindset itself. Because I'm quite an average person. If I can get to it, anybody can get to it.
Right. So my other question is in through your preparation, what would you say, let's say, what's the winning formula? Like in your preparation, was there a particular study technique or resources or strategy that proved to be very effective? Conversely, was there something that you tried that did not work as well as you anticipated? Both sides of it.
Okay. I would say first I will answer the second part. I tried a lot of things. I would say I've watched probably hundreds of testimonials. I've tried a lot of things, but most of the things didn't work for me. Like I had a issue with the exam anxiety kind of a thing. I tried meditation. I tried a lot of things, but at the end of the day, when I was just inching towards the exam center in my cab, whenever I'm close to it, the tension just spikes up, and it kept happening all over. At least in my three tests, so it just kept happening. So that part just never phased out of. Uh, for the second part, or the first part that you asked, I would say there are a couple of things. I think I just focus a lot on for my verbal. I have completely focused on LSATs. I have not touched for my last trip. I have only touched my LSATs. I have not touched any of the 700, 800 for my last trip. So I
Right.
think LSAT is more of a pressure kind of a scenario, and I was actually putting myself forcefully in that pressure scenario. That I was putting myself in the 35 minutes. I was trying to finish that, and it became much easier for me while I was on my test day because I think I finished my verbal with 5 to 6 minutes on spare, and that was the entire reason for the LSATs. Yeah.
So Anurag, if touch based on something very, very sensitive, and which is what a lot of students undergo, which is like exam anxiety, not just exam anxiety, being anxious generally. So this definitely has been an obstacle, and it has been for you and for many others that I've also spoken to. So how did you overcome this particular? I mean, it's no way that it can go away. Anxiety
Yeah.
will still remain.
Yeah.
So during the exam or your preparation, how did you overcome your anxiousness or anxiety?
Okay, I think I have had a time of 20, 10 to 20, 12 days to actually think about it. And what I have come to the conclusion is I think my scenario is actually kind of a change because initially I was quite skeptic about my future itself. But previously I had a 700 and I actually started talking to Audrey and I got in touch with him and I started preparing my applications. I had prepared my application for ISB and HSC and I was quite satisfied with my applications itself. So in my head, I was kind of sure that okay, like future is not going to be completely bad. You have something. So with that assurance, when I went for this last attempt, I have never been this relaxed. I mean, I was talking to talking to our friends on a conference call right before entering the exam center, and I didn't even tell them I'm going inside this exam center for exam, and I was
Right.
not even cutting the call because of it. So it was I have never been so nonchalant, not so casual about it. Something that it just didn't even feel some. I mean,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, I don't know how to
Good.
implement it for someone else. I understand
But
that, but
talking to people really helped, is what you
yeah,
said. It kind
exactly,
of
yeah,
calmed your nerves. The uncertainty factor that was causing a lot of
yes,
anxiousness.
yes,
कि क्या होगा with this score? What is the possibility where? I think that question was
yeah,
sticking a
exactly,
lot more than the GMAT score itself.
yes.
And that happens very naturally. It happens to a lot of them. But yes, talking to
Yeah, the
people
uncertainty, the
really
entire
helped.
scenario, the stakes, whenever they are high, it's kind of a good recipe for anxiety. So yeah,
Right, right. So, my next question would be that was there any pivotal moment during your study where a difficult concept or a strategy suddenly clicked? And how did those realization impact that your confidence, more importantly, that you're ready with this particular section? First of all, did you have
yeah,
any
yeah.
challenges in any
Yes,
section?
yes, yes. I mean, when I started, I was preparing for the OG section, and I remember by the time I was finishing my SG lecture three, I was completely broken. I texted out of anything. I just texted Priyansha, and she kind of consoled me, told me that a lot of people go through this, that was the bad part. But I don't think I have actually got to over LC with 100% confidence. But yeah, apart from that, on the positive side, I would say when I did have a breakthrough in CR,
Hmm.
there was a one point when I was trying to memorize. I had built some type of symptom that I was trying to memorize the concept of CR. But they are not limited concepts. They are unlimited concepts. The question can be built. So yeah. So after one point of time, I think LSAT, the questions that are given in LSAT, and I was trying to do those in an untimed manner. And the thing, tricky thing about LSAT CRs are they are very subtle in a way. They have very subtle word mix up scenario, and they are testing almost everything. I mean, if someone goes through probably 8 sections of LSATs of CR, they probably have gone through all kinds of CR that can be made. So, so yeah. So I think that pivotal moment for CR would be the LSAT.
Right. Any other section you would like to highlight that was supposedly little weaker to start with or challenging to start with, but then you've overcome?
Yeah, yeah. The same thing. That's the same thing comes down to I would say for RC also.
Yes.
For RC,
Naturally.
when you are yeah, for short time, just when you're solving 700 to 800, you'll probably have a habit of recalling things and just marking the answer. But when you get an LSAT, which is passage, that's a humongous passage, you're not going to remember any of it. You have to go back to the passage. So you kind of build a habit of just referring back to the passage. Even if it is
Right.
a short passage, it just becomes a habit out of that. You have to go back to find the answer. And actually, it actually helped me on my exam also, because if I remember correctly, my third passage, I only had 3 passages, and my third passage was extremely long. I would say comparatively similar to LSATs that we have, or even bigger. And it had 4 questions, and out of 3 questions, they were like accept questions. So for each option, you have to go back and search. And I don't think it would been easier if I had done practice the LSATs. So yeah.
Right. Your entire preparation was rather too long because then you gave
Yeah, yeah.
attempts as well. Now in this segment, it's generally people might just lose out on really pursuing this for this
Yeah.
long. So who was your anchor, or what was it that kept you motivated, and or if there was a support system at all, or did you rely on the top team? Like what really worked for you to keep going at it to reach this excellence? It's an excellent score, by the way. But what really, really got you here?
Okay, so I have to be honest, when I actually dropped by top 1%, my range score was 670 on the OG edition. And when I was going through my
670, not 760.
no, 670. Because
670.
yeah,
Okay.
because I had learned that you can get into IIM Lucknow by 670. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay,
Ha.
so that was my dream score. And when I did join top 1%, by the demo itself, I think I kind of accentuated it to 700. And eventually, after RC first lecture, and he just I don't it was just on the first lecture itself, on the first PPT, just there's a quote that says that you don't have to give your best, you have to do whatever it takes. And
Right.
that just kind of got stuck. Like, because the thing is, my entire life philosophy has been You have to just give your best. And that was kind of shaking in a way, like this is completely different. You have to do whatever it takes actually. So even if when I did get a 700, I knew I had to give one more the time. Even if when I was writing my essays after 6:45 with all 3, I knew I will give one more time. I will try to give one more time every time until I receive at least equivalent of 98 percentile.
But here you
That
are
was,
with 100% time.
yeah,
Whatever it takes, I mean, that has been a single motto because giving your best is then you're still giving fate, or I don't know who to decide this or that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, somebody, whatever it takes means there is only one goal. There is only
yeah,
one
exactly.
thing, right? And
Yeah,
there's
you
only
have to
one
do
thing.
it. Doesn't really matter. You cannot rely on
You're not
karma.
giving fate to decide that, I'm
Yes,
giving my
exactly.
best, now you decide. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a complete different analysis and analogy altogether. Glad that you've really inculcated that in your
yeah,
preparation. Now, Anurag, you're also very generously been helping students as well, overcome whatever challenges that you have. I mean, generally, that's how Jignesh, Maurya, all of them were there as a part of the system. It's a very exciting time. But now, when you look back, what are the things that you would possibly, this is like Anurag's wisdom, you could say, right? What is it that you would say that, some student should be doing so that they do not spend that much time and rather do this in one go and, you know, make sure, I mean, conventionally we know that be consistent, follow the
yes,
plan, but what is it that you would say from your experience that one student should do and one should do, the do's and the don'ts?
yeah. Okay. So, okay, I would say first the don'ts. I would say don't get disheartened either when you are giving mocks or implementing some kind of strategy that doesn't really work out. You might see some strategy that I will tell you, and you might see some strategy that someone else will tell you on the testimonial, and you'll probably implement it that thinking that it's going to work out 100% time, but 100% of the time, but it might not work out. Some people are built different, and it's not going to work. Everybody has a different strategy, kind of thing. I would say there are close to 10 or 11 strategies that you can follow, but you have to give a hit and trial. So just be sure about it. That don't be so hard on yourself about that part. And other thing that I would say don't rush through the learning phase. From what I have seen, all the questions that are given in the like live lectures or all the lectures that are all the questions that are covered in the lectures itself, they are very carefully chosen, and it's kind of holistically covering all the topics. So I think it's very important to actually cover all the learning phase in a very depth and detail. And the last thing I would say, don't try to finish up the material too fast. I mean, your focus should not be on finishing up the material. And the one thing that I did wrong was I finished up the IR material too soon. So on the later of time, I didn't have much material to practice. So try not to do that. Try to use the I think IR marathon part wisely. You can use the post work part stringently, but marathon part try to spare couple of 3 or 4 exercises for the last days of exams.
So,
And for yeah,
you and I both would know that when we say that do not try to complete it very soon or don't
yeah,
cut or build depth,
yes,
would you like to just go a step forward and explain it? What does it mean to build depth, or what does it mean to really take it slow? Would you be
yeah,
able
yeah.
to do that? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so for example, if we have, for example, this is a CR and RC lecture, and whatever the answer that comes through you, uh, probably you have a wrong answer. You have marked the wrong answer, and you have seen the solution. Most of the time, you are not giving the solution. But when once you do get a solution, you have to figure out why all these answers are wrong. You have to figure out, you have to try to figure out your own analogy that why this answer could be wrong. And once the in the lecture you to see what the actual reason is, you have to figure out why did you actually think that this was your reason. Because the thing is, there are a lot of things that happens in RC and CR. You're going to go wrong. You're going to go wrong. You're going to make error logs, but you're not really going to realize that what actually is making you go wrong. You have to understand that, because the thing is, it's a very psychological kind of exam, and different people are going to find difficulty in different scenarios. So if someone has a positive bias kind of outlook to some situations, they'll probably go in some other situations. And if someone has a negative bias kind of outlook, they will go into such a certain other situation. So you
Correct.
have to kind of figure out in the lecture part that why actually you chose that wrong answer. Probably
Right.
write it up why you actually write an answer. That would help if you.
Right. So this has been a fantastic insight. I mean, especially a couple of them that you've mentioned. Definitely, whatever it takes stands out the best. Best phrase I would say. But if I would like to just probably ask one more question here. What next for you? I know Anurag, you're a part. You're really here to even mentor a couple of them until you find your way forward, and you really want to give back, and we'll do very well in that. But beyond that, what is for Anurag in the coming years? What have you seen for yourself?
This is a very hard topic to answer. I'm still trying to work on it. But yeah, I think I can. I'm trying to change my life. It's the direction which it was heading. I wasn't really liking it. I'm trying my best to change it. Yeah, I can talk about it probably much more about it after
After you've
December probably.
achieved it, you would say.
Yeah,
Is there
exactly.
any
Yes.
particular schools that you're already currently working? Is there any specific schools that you aim to apply this year for the next year admission?
Yeah, I mean, I'm applying for Duke, Ross, uh, Berkeley, and US, USC Marshalls, all the US schools that I'm targeting.
US schools that you're
Yes.
targeting. Perfect,
Yes.
perfect. I think, this is like I said, a fantastic score. You really have to pull up your application now to make the
Yes.
selection happen. I mean, now everything lies there.
Yeah.
So, we'll just have to wait and see how can we make this admit happen. But truly a phenomenal score, and that determination, truly, truly great. It's so, so good that you are also now helping students and mentoring students as well, whoever is stuck for whatever time that is. Anyone can reach out to you as well.
Yeah.
So, kudos for for the score.
Thank
You've
you.
already had Sandeep sir congratulate you and the entire team
Yeah.
congratulate you
Yes.
personally
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
All the very best. Let's see that admit coming through very soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this part of your story.
Thank
And
you so much for
yeah,
your thing.
thank you again. Thanks for connecting. I'll just quickly text you in about few minutes right after, just for a few other things. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you. Good.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.